So Rajasthan, the situation has started. Now, what has happened here is that in the state of Rajasthan, uh, certain members of the ruling party did not attend the legislative party meeting, and there were certain people who were ministers, there were certain people who were MLAs. Now they did not attend the legislative party meeting, and the speaker issued a notice to them on the basis of that you have not attended a legislative party meeting. The chief minister, who was the leader of that particular legislative party, wrote to the speaker saying that please take action against the anti-defection law for the purpose of initiation of disqualification proceedings against these people जिन्होंने legislative party meeting attend नहीं की. ये एक अद्भुत situation थी. अभी तक ऐसा कभी नहीं हुआ है. That so the conduct inside the house, the conduct outside the house. So स्पीकर का अधिकार क्षेत्र वो है जो हाउस के अंदर हो रहा है. Okay, now this is the first time that they have not even, the matter has not even reached the house. Attending a meeting of the legislative party is the point. Now the speaker immediately goes to the High Court. Because these persons have gone to the High Court by saying that हम लोगों ने तो सब कांग्रेस पार्टी छोड़ी ही नहीं, हम लोग तो आज भी कांग्रेस पार्टी के मेंबर हैं, आपने whip ही नहीं इशू किया. A whip has to be issued. And on the basis of that whip, I will be speaking in both English and Hindi because many listeners may be conversant with either of the language. So I will be alternatively speaking in both languages. So these people say that we have not left the Congress party. And so your action is premature. Now, courts have held constantly, right from Kiloto Holohan, 1992 onwards, that the speaker is the final authority, but because of the doctrine of basic structure, judicial review cannot be barred. You can come to court against the action of the speaker. So so I'm trying to explain to you the basic problem. The basic problem is that the MLAs say, the MLAs against whom a notice of disqualification has been issued, they say that, look, this is premature because you have given us 48 hours to reply and there has been no whip issued. What is the conduct against which we are, you are taking action or you are wanting to take action? So the speaker says that it is in my jurisdiction. मेरे अधिकार क्षेत्र में आता है. The speaker goes to the High Court. The High Court does not give relief. The speaker goes to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court refuses to intervene. The matter again goes to the High Court. Disqualification proceedings are stayed. It's a very high-profile matter. Top-class lawyers from both sides are appearing. The MLAs against whom disqualification proceedings are being initiated are being represented by people like Mr. Mukul Rohatgi and people like Mr. Salve, seasoned senior advocates, whereas people like Dr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi and Mr. Kapil Sibal are appearing for the Honorable Speaker. Now, the governor, meanwhile, calls a session of the House. The state government asks the governor to convene a session of the House so that they can, seek majority. Seek the vote of confidence. Now, the point is, in such a case, what is the ruling? What is the authority that the governor has? The governor has the authority to call a session of the House. The Lieutenant Governor, they have that authority. Lieutenant Governor in the case of Delhi and Pondicherry, because these are the only places where the House is to be called. But please note something very interesting in the Rajasthan case. Publicly, the state government is saying we want to seek a vote of confidence. And when they are writing to the governor, they are saying that we want to discuss Corona. The governor says that please show how the House can be conducted in the situation where social distancing has to be practiced. Very interesting. So finally, of course, the 3 weeks that the governor prescribed has been accepted and the session of the House is going to be convened from 14th of August. Now, this is the most recent case that Rajasthan. Of course, Manipur is going to be next because, like what I told you, it has just happened yesterday. So they have abstained. They have defied a party whip. right? So the rule is clear on that, defying a party with. अब थोड़ा सा इसमें पीछे चलते हैं. I'll take you back to what was happening. See, till 1967 there was no problem. Absolutely no problem. There was a single party government, and there was no problem of defection and all of this. Defection started happening in 1967, and they happened in a host of states. Haryana, there is a very, very famous case of an MLA called Mr. Gaya Lal, and he changed his party 3 times during one day. He changed his party affiliation 3 times during one day, and that is why it became Aya Ram and Gaya Ram, because of his name. So this whole politics became Aya Ram, Gaya Ram ki Sanskriti. And it is not that Haryana started, everybody else started following suit. Every other state you started having this problem. This has been a very, very serious problem in the Northeast and in Goa. Why so? Because these states have very, very small legislative assemblies. 60, 40, in the case of Sikkim, 32. It is very easy to defect in these states. Now the anti-defection law came. It was put in the 10th schedule by the Rajiv Gandhi government in 1985. A separate schedule of the Constitution of India enacted. 10th schedule says that, so basically what this says, if I may put it in very simple language, retail defection is not going to be allowed, but wholesale defection can be allowed. And what is retail and what is wholesale? Dr. Anupam Jha, our senior colleague, is here. Thank you very much, sir, for joining in. So what is retail defection and what is wholesale defection? So they have defined it by saying, if 1/3 of the strength of the political party crosses over to another political party or merges with another political party, it is fine. But if it is less than 1/3, you are going to run the risk of disqualification. ये मैं आपको धीरे धीरे बता रहा हूँ कि कैसे ये सिचुएशन आज तक पहुंची है. मैंने आपको वर्तमान स्थिति बता दी. आई एम नाउ गोइंग टू टेक यू बैक टू द ओल्डर डेज. So what it means is, in a state like, let's say, Sikkim, or in a state like, let's say, Goa, a political party has 3 MLAs or 2 MLAs or 1 MLA, single party MLAs. Now what happens? How will you determine 1/3? 1/3 of 2 happens to be 0.67. तो एक MLA डिफेक्ट कर जाता है, तब क्या होगा? तो इसलिए ये this problem was not able to be solved by this. Another problem was that there was no restriction on the number of people who could be made ministers. So you started having 100 ministers in the case of Uttar Pradesh. So a constitutional amendment was brought in 2002, by virtue of which the number of ministers in the center and the states, ये दोनों ही चीजें linked हैं, इसलिए मैं link करके बता रहा हूँ. So was fixed at 15% of the strength of the lower house. So in the center, you cannot have more than 81 ministers. And in the states, let's say in Rajasthan, for example, you cannot have more than 30 ministers, including chief minister, because the strength of the Rajasthan house is 200. So ये होने लगा. Then people came up with newer and newer things. They said, we will make everybody minister status. We will make parliamentary secretaries. So this case went to court again. Parliamentary secretaries is again going to be an office of profit. I would just request people to kindly put themselves on mute. Preeti, please put yourself on mute. Yeah, thank you. So this is a new problem which started happening, and wholesale defection was valid. Led to a new constitutional amendment which says no, whether it is wholesale defection, whether it is retail defection, you are going to lose your membership of the house if you are going to change your political party after the date of election. Once elected, please do not change your political party at all. Has that stopped defection? Unfortunately, no. It continues. Now, something very interesting has happened. So, in this Kiloto Holohan case, the this 10th schedule itself was challenged before the Honorable Supreme Court, and there they have said that, look, I have a fundamental right to defect. I have a fundamental right to change my political affiliation. Why so? Because ऐसा हो सकता है that मेरी political party dictator बन गई है. I do not have freedom to express. I am not somebody's slave. It is violative of 19(1)(a) of the Constitution, right to freedom of speech and expression. They said that parliamentary privilege is being invoked. Parliament has a privilege. All members of parliament and members of the assembly have a privilege. So, as Professor Kiran Gupta ma'am will be able to tell you more effectively, that parliamentary privilege means that there is no action can be taken for any speech given, any vote given, or any other kind of action taken within the house. So they say in Kiloto Holohan, the petitioners, that when I am voting in a particular manner, irrespective of the party whip, आप मुझे रोक नहीं सकते. Supreme Court says no, this is not acceptable. You have to be bound by this. You have been elected on a particular party's ticket. It also talks about independent MLAs when they change their affiliation. When an independent MLA joins, let's say, BSP or BJP, whichever is the ruling party, he or she will also be disqualified. So this has continued. Then there have been cases in Goa, Dayanand and Bandekar. Those have clarified the position. A very interesting case took place, friends, in Uttar Pradesh. Keshav Prasad Maurya. In that case, the Supreme Court says that even by your action, not just by your vote, not just by any activity done inside the house, even by action, you will lose your membership, or you will be liable for action within the anti-defection law. Now, let us look at the facts of that case. Very, very interesting. There are certain MLAs belonging to the ruling party, and they write to the governor that we are no longer with the ruling party. We wish to be with Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav, who is from the other party. These MLAs belong to the Bahujan Samaj Party. And the Honorable Supreme Court says that this is an act of defying the party whip. The speaker has the order and speaker has the authority to go ahead and take action in such cases. Speaker के अधिकार क्षेत्र में ये आता है, and ultimately these people lost their membership. Now the other thing, now what people do, the huge allegations of money changing, etc., all kinds of figures are being brandished around, X number of crores, Y number of crores, etc. So the person doesn't quite care whether he is giving up his membership of the house, whether he is not, whether he is disqualified. It doesn't really matter because he takes his chance. In many cases, very interesting, people from A political party join B political party, and they are assured tickets to stand from their respective constituencies, जहां से ये पहले जीत के आए थे. When they join that political party, they are not given tickets, and they don't seem to mind because various other things have taken place. So ये थोड़ी सी problem होने लगी. Now, Keshav Prasad Maurya is significant in the sense that this is for the first time that the Supreme Court has ruled that whatever you do inside the house, not only that, but जो आपका conduct है outside the house, उससे भी infer किया जा सकता है. Kiloto Holohan says that speaker has the final authority. You cannot challenge the authority of speaker till he has taken a decision. But it is not that the speaker's authority is final. Everything is subject to judicial review, because judicial review has been time and again laid down by the Honorable Supreme Court to be part of the basic structure of the Constitution, just like secularism, just like democracy, just like free and fair elections. Right? So you know, basic structure started from 1973 onwards. Constitution में कहीं नहीं लिखा है, but different judges have expounded thereafter and said basic structure, the things because of which the Constitution has its identity. Now we move to a Karnataka case of 2011. It is going to be very relevant because the facts are something similar, somewhat similar. Of course, now I don't know what will happen to the Rajasthan case, because apparently the all is forgotten and all is well, and the so-called disgruntled MLAs have gone back to their political party. So I don't know what will be the future of that case. But if at all it is adjudicated, So the disqualification proceedings against those 19 MLAs, if at all it is adjudicated, the Karnataka case of 2011 will come into place here. And this is Jarkioli versus Union of India. So here what has happened is that there are certain MLAs who have been disqualified by the speaker. These MLAs say, look, we have not left the political party, which is BJP, which is the ruling political party. We have not gone ahead and left this particular political party. We continue to be members of this political party. हमने बीजेपी नहीं छोड़ी है, हम बस नेतृत्व परिवर्तन चाहते हैं, हम येडियुरप्पा साहब नहीं चाहते हैं. And the political party replaced Mr. Yediyurappa with Mr. Jagdish Shettar, and the political crisis blew over, and all was well, and no disqualification proceedings were later on initiated. वो वहीं पे केस खत्म हो गया. So this situation now becomes again very relevant in this particular year. This same year, 2020, in February, you have this Maibam Manendra Singh case in the state of Manipur. Again, the same issue. February 2020, latest case. Supreme Court has adjudicated on this that in what situations, in what circumstances can you infer? Is defection going to be a continuous process, or is defection going to be decided on a particular date? Supreme Court says ये defection कोई continuous process नहीं होता है, एक particular date decide कर लीजिए, उस date पे होता है. So this was the issue of again Congress party MLAs in BJP. So this has been happening in Goa. This has been happening in, like I said, the Goa same position happened. So again, like I said, Manipur part 2 is going to happen because 8 out of 20 have again, like I said, done this. Something very interesting. We go to Arunachal Pradesh. Nabam S. Rabia is the name of the case. And Arunachal Pradesh. Now what happens here in Arunachal Pradesh? The speaker refuses to call a session of the house, and the MLAs go and conduct a session of the house and pass a vote of no confidence against the chief minister. Matter goes to Supreme Court. The case can be cited as Kolikopul versus Union of India. Kolikopul was the chief minister, took the case there. Supreme Court says the speaker has exceeded his jurisdiction. He ought to have called a sitting of the house and then decided whether there is confidence or no confidence. There is a procedure in the constitution as to how you can call for a confidence motion or how you can call for a no confidence motion. So wahan pe Supreme Court also sensed that there is something amiss, but they said the correct forum, and they have been saying this time and again, that the correct forum for checking whether a chief minister enjoys the confidence of the house is not on the street, is not on the Raj Bhavan, it is actually in the floor of the house. ये बॉम्बे केस में बोला था 1993 में, उसके बाद से हर केस में यही बोलते आ रहे हैं. Right? So there also they said something for the first time. The speaker should restore the house to status quo ante bellum. This is a Latin phrase which means status quo ante bellum. Ante bellum means before the war began, and status quo means as it was. So, जैसी स्थिति पहले थी, I would just request you to please stop presenting, Mr. Gupta. Please stop presenting. Mr. Gupta, Mr. Mukesh Gupta, please stop presenting. Thank you. So, so this is the situation that, status quo ante bellum. मतलब जैसे parties थी before the start of the war. That is how you should be keeping it. So फिर floor of confidence, floor of the house पे vote of confidence हुआ, and then the chief minister had to resign because he did not have the confidence. So the Supreme Court also knew this, but they said that you restore him, and he again became chief minister for 2 days or 4 days or whatever it was, and then we sought the vote of confidence and did not have the vote of confidence, and he resigned. Right? So now the question is jurisdiction of the speaker and jurisdiction of the courts. What is the jurisdiction of the speaker? So the consensus that seems to be evolving so far, and that's why I said Rajasthan, if it goes to courts, will come up with new jurisprudence And another reason why it will come up with new jurisprudence, I will talk about the case of the 6 BSP MLAs in Rajasthan. So इसमें जो है, अगर ये केस अब पता नहीं एडजुडिकेट होगा कि नहीं होगा, बट इफ इट वर टू बी एडजुडिकेटेड, इट वुड ब्रिंग आउट दिस काइंड ऑफ इशू once again, that can the speaker take action on the basis of what has not even been done? See, you cannot read in criminal law, we say na, when is the offense complete. तो यहाँ पे भी आप ऑफेंस कब कंप्लीट हो रहा है वो कहना बड़ा मुश्किल हो जाता है. तो ठीक है, आपने चिट्ठी लिख दी गवर्नर साहब को कि आप इस पार्टी के साथ नहीं है, यस दैट इज ग्राउंड. आप राज्यसभा इलेक्शन में वोट नहीं डाल रहे हैं, यस दैट इज ग्राउंड. You decide to abstain from the voting, yes that is ground. You defy the party whip, yes that is ground. But आप legislative party meeting में नहीं आते, वो क्या ground हो जाता है? ये बड़ा interesting issue होता है. तो मेरे विचार से तो ये ground नहीं है, but then it is not my view which matters, it is the view of the courts which matters, because otherwise tomorrow it might lead to very very strange kind of circumstances. The second point which is very important in Rajasthan is, can you give people 48 hours to respond? Can you in such a case give people 48 hours to respond? The answer is, in the Supreme Court decision of February 2020, that Mehbam Manendra Singh case, 2020 Supreme Court, February, they say that no, you have to give them reasonable time. And what is reasonable? Minimum period 3 months to explain. And if you want it to be less than 3 months, please give it in writing as to what is the urgency. क्यों आप इतना जल्दी डिसीजन लेना चाहते हैं बताइए. और ये सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने क्यों किया 3 months? Because see what happened in Karnataka in 2018-19 when the Congress party was in power. Congress and Janata Dal Secular were in power, and their MLAs started resigning, or one side says MLAs were kidnapped, the other side says MLAs were being held hostage. This has now become standard practice. Every party picks up their MLAs, takes them to another state. All these things happen. So, of course, the standards have been changing. 30 years ago, these MLAs used to be picked up and locked up in servants' quarters of ministers' bungalows. Now they are being kept in 5-star hotels in different states. So, the standards have changed. That is the only thing over the last 30 years. So I have personally seen this, so that's why I'm saying this. Okay, so the other thing which I want to tell you is the Karnataka speaker said, I am taking a decision. There is no time limit prescribed for me to take a decision. I will meet these MLAs individually. I will decide as to whether they are taking this decision of resigning from the house without any pressure. So this means that the speaker's powers are extremely wide, unchallenged. Please understand, nobody's powers are unchallenged. And that is what the Supreme Court says in that Karnataka judgment of 2019. Please read it. It says, who is the speaker? Is he a psychologist? Can he decide that whether somebody is in fear? So there has to be a reasonable period of time in which the speaker will decide. There has to be a reasonable, and from Karnataka they have moved to Manipur 2020, wherein reasonable period of time for the MLAs to give their answer, and reasonable period of time for the speaker to decide. There have been speakers who have kept these matters lingering on for 5 years. तब तक नया election हो जाता है. The whole thing becomes infructuous. So speaker has to decide in reasonable period of time, and MLAs have to respond in reasonable period of time, and speaker has to give them reasonable period of time to respond. Another now very interesting point, friends. Which I said, this is what happens even with the present anti-defection law, despite all safeguards. There is a merger of the entire political party. So, for example, Bahujan Samaj Party in Rajasthan, 6 MLAs, all 6 of them decide to merge with the Congress party. Mind you, they are already extending support to the Congress party, but the chief minister says they should merge, so they merge. Now, today, the president of that political party says that she will go to court. Honorable Mayawati ji decides to go to court today, after 10 months. These people left her party and joined the Congress party 10 months ago. Today she goes to court. And she says, I have my right to appear in court. These people ought to be disqualified for having merged with the different political party under the anti-defection law. Now the question here is, and she says I am within my rights to come because limitation does not apply in such matters. You know, limitation is for 3 years. Now the question is, this has never been raised in electoral law. That's why it's a very interesting topic. क्या इसमें ये लिमिटेशन का कानून लागू होगा? Because limitation runs for 3 years. But इस तरह का कोई वाक्य कभी आया नहीं. It has never come to the notice of the court that for 3 years, within 3 years or within 10 months or whatever, can somebody come to court. Normally, people come immediately. Now, there is another issue which I want to highlight here. Some of you may have studied about it. We teach it in Delhi University, the JMM bribery case. Very, very interesting case. 1991, when Mr. Narasimha Rao was Prime Minister in the center. See, this is nothing political about it. Every political party has been doing it. So it is not that party A has done it or party B has done it. Everybody has done it. I've given you examples of BJP. I've given you examples of Congress. Lalu Prasad ji has done it. Everybody has done it. Now, Narasimha Rao ji was running a minority government with outside support, and some people were abstaining. So certain MPs, members of Parliament or Lok Sabha from the Jharkhand Mukti Morcha decided to cross over. There were 4 of them. There was this huge bribery scandal. In those days, 1 crore rupees used to be a lot of money. So there is a very interesting case that, how 1 crore transported and who was the person transporting 1 crore, very, very senior industrialist, and in which suitcase, all of that, and how is it possible to put 1 crore. It was demonstrated that this is how you can put 1 crore, because in those days, the biggest note was 1,000. So how can you stack 1 crore rupees, and so on and so forth. And various investigations were launched by various investigative authorities. Nothing ever comes out in these matters. So what happened there? Please listen with a lot of careful listening. The bribe givers and the bribe takers, those who admitted on the floor of the house that we have taken money, very interesting proposition of law. No criminal action can be taken against them because of parliamentary privilege. And those who have not done so, they are liable to criminal prosecution, which is what happened in this case. Professor Mahavir Singh often talks about this case. So this is something which you have to be very, very listening. This shows how parliamentary privilege has actually been abused in this country. It has been enacted for the purpose of ensuring that people can talk freely. But see where it is taking us. So maybe it is a time to have a relook at it. And so this is certain things which need to be talked about. So now there have been cases. The anti-defection law says that if you are disqualified from the membership of the house, you are not allowed to stand for election again during the duration of that house, during the duration of that assembly. So which means, hypothetically, Karnataka Assembly gets elected in 2017, which means that Assembly runs till 2022, assuming there is no midterm election. If you have resigned or you have been disqualified, right? You have, forget resign, you have been disqualified in 2018, which means till 2022, reading the anti-defection law as it is, literal interpretation of the anti-defection law, you are not allowed to stand for election till 2022. In the Karnataka case, Honorable Supreme Court has permitted these MLAs to stand for election. Some of them have been given tickets by their new political party. Some of them have won, some of them have lost. But, so the point is that yes, this is also a new development which needs to be spoken about. Right. So this is something which I wanted to speak to you about, the changing contours of how this law has evolved over a period of time. Now you will see that, what is the legality of a whip? Like I told you, in this case, Kiloto Holohan, for the very first time, the legality of a whip was challenged. Is a whip going to be something which is against the spirit of Article 19(1)(a? The answer is given by the Supreme Court. says you do not have a fundamental right to defect. If you have a fundamental right to defect, that means that elections in this country are not conducted on the basis of party ideologies. It means it is a national election. Mind you, it happens. National elections are conducted in many countries, including some countries in Latin America, including some countries in our neighborhood. But this is not a country which has a national election. Elections here are conducted on a party system. So you are elected on a party ideology. So you have to be faithful to that party ideology. This has been reiterated in that Bandekar case, and this has been reiterated in Jagdambika Pal also. Okay. So yes, so this is basically my talk for this. I will be very happy if you would be asking me some questions, or we can just go about that. And if there are any questions, I'll be more than happy to assist, because I think that, you know, this is a topic wherein you would have questions. There are some that are there on the chat box. We can take those, or we can have you just go one by one. Any way you like it. Yes, I think it's better to have you go one by one, and then we can look at the chat box. Any one of you, please, just raise your hand and start.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर, आपने बहुत अच्छा एंटी डिफेक्शन लॉ के बारे में सभी स्टूडेंट्स को समझाया। मैं सभी से रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि सभी लोग कमेंट्स में पूछें सर से क्वेश्चंस। बट सर एक क्वेश्चन है जो स्टूडेंट्स का आया था हमारे बीच, कि जिस एम से, जिस उद्देश्य के लिए एंटी डिफेक्शन लॉ लाया गया था कि जो खरीद फरोख्त बंद हो एमएलएस की, जो एक पार्टी से दूसरी पार्टी इसके बीच में जाना बंद हो, लेकिन हम देख रहे हैं कि जिस तरीके से एमपी में हुआ कि 22 एमएलएस ने रिजाइन दिया, फिर वो शिवराज सिंह की गवर्नमेंट में 10 या 11 एमपी जो एमएलएस थे वो मिनिस्टर्स बन गए। तो क्या एंटी डिफेक्शन लॉ जिस उद्देश्य के साथ लाया गया था, क्या वो अभी उस उद्देश्य पे खरा उतरा है, या इसमें अमेंड्स की जरूरत है, या क्या प्रावधान लाने की? इस पे अपनी राय दो सर।
थैंक यू वेरी मच। ये बड़ा ही अच्छा सवाल है आपका। सी द क्वेश्चन इज लाइक दिस। अभी यू नो, अगर एक एनालॉजी लेते हैं तो देखिए ऐसा होता है, इट इज ऑलवेज अ गेम ऑफ कैट एंड माउस। चोर पुलिस का गेम चलता है, शह मात का गेम चलता है। पहले जमाने में जो है चोर जो है ऐसे ही भाग जाते थे, पैदल भागते थे, पुलिस वाले साइकिल पे होते थे। फिर चोरों ने मोटरसाइकिल खरीदनी शुरू की, पुलिस वालों ने मोटरसाइकिल खरीदनी शुरू की। फिर जो है उनके पास अच्छी गाड़ियां आ गई, पुलिस वालों के पास अच्छी गाड़ियां आ गई, and so on and so forth. The situation has continued. So the anti-defection law has evolved over a period of time. It will continue to evolve. Now to your short question कि क्या ये सक्सेसफुल है, आज की डेट में मैं नहीं मानता कि ये पूरी तरह से सक्सेसफुल है। आपने मध्य प्रदेश का उदाहरण दिया, नॉर्थ ईस्ट में हम रोज देख रहे हैं ये हो रहा है, गोवा में हम रोज देख रहे हैं इस तरह की चीजें हो रही हैं, कर्नाटका में हमने देखा यही चीज हुई है, सब जगह यही हो रहा है, हरियाणा में अभी यही हुआ है। सो दिस इज हैपनिंग ऑल ओवर द कंट्री, and in fact it might happen again in Rajasthan. Now there are rumors that some BJP MLAs will cross over. So this is very very interesting. ये जो पूरे टाइम चलता रहता है, तो एंटी डिफेक्शन लॉ आज की डेट में बिल्कुल मेरे हिसाब से कारगर नहीं है, एंड लॉट ऑफ मोर चेंजेस नीड टू बी ब्रॉट अबाउट। Okay, so let me just take any more questions which are there on the chat box. तो ये जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट वाला सवाल था, ये तो मैंने ऑलरेडी इसका जवाब दे दिया, दैट आप एमएलएस को यू आर अलाउइंग देम टू कंटेस्ट इलेक्शंस। ये जो कर्नाटका वाला जजमेंट है ये शायद ठीक नहीं है, किसी दिन ये बड़ी बेंच के पास जाएगा, राइट? The after effect, so what is the recourse for a disqualified member? बड़ा अच्छा सवाल है। रुचिर जैन has asked this. Once a member has been disqualified, he or she has a right to approach the courts in writ jurisdiction. Or if he feels his fundamental rights are violated, he can go directly to Supreme Court also. अगर उसको लगता है कि उसको सुना ही नहीं गया, he has not been heard at all, the rules of natural justice have not been applied, or Article 14 for example is violated, somebody similarly placed is being treated differently, he or she has a right to go directly to Supreme Court also. So that is there, that recourse is always available. Okay, so yes, ये जो लावण्या का क्वेश्चन है, कैन अ डिफरेंट इशू देन व्हाट, सी normally in the house, the way parliament or state legislature functions, there is a list of business and then there is a 0 hour. In the list of business, you can only discuss whatever is prescribed for that particular hour, and in the 0 hour, MPs and MLAs can raise whatever questions they wish to raise. When a special session is called, When a special session is called, it can only discuss the issue for which it has been called. So, for example, if a session is being called for Corona, it should not be discussing anything else. If a session has been called to earmark for GST, it can only do GST and nothing else. If a session has been called only to earmark 50 years of existence of a particular state, like we have in Punjab and Haryana, so it can only be for that purpose, right? It cannot be for anything else. So केवल उसी के लिए हो सकता है when it comes to a special session. जो नॉर्मल सेशन है वो कभी भी हो सकता है. बालन, आपने जो ये सेशन वाली बात की, देयर इज अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग इशू व्हिच कम्स. द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन सेज 6 महीने से ज्यादा का गैप नहीं हो सकता बिटवीन वन सेशन एंड द अदर. अभी हमारा जो लास्ट सेशन था वो मार्च में हुआ था, पार्लियामेंट का, लोकसभा का. सितंबर में अगर आपका सेशन नहीं हुआ तो देयर विल बी अ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल क्राइसिस. देयर इज नो प्रोविजन ऑफ प्रेसिडेंशियल रूल एट द सेंटर. सो आप कैसे इसको करेंगे? आपको एक दिन के लिए तो पार्लियामेंट को बुलाना पड़ेगा, या आज के दौर में सब कुछ वर्चुअल है तो क्या एक वर्चुअल पार्लियामेंट हो सकती है? ये थोड़ा सा देखने वाला इशू हो जाएगा. ओके, सो यस, एनीथिंग एल्स फ्रॉम एनीबॉडी? किरण
Excuse me,
गुप्ता
sir.
मैम, यस प्लीज.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sir, thank you so much, sir, for your lecture. But I have one doubt actually. If some MLA or MP has been expelled from particular party and become an unattached member, so
Very good.
then that anti-defection law that will applied or not? Like
Very good question, Ritik. Thank you very much.
because sir, if it's that section 2 has it has mentioned that in section 2, I think part clause 1.
That's right.
It says that voluntary,
2(1)(c) में लिखा है.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sir, voluntary membership.
Giving
If
up the
someone is
membership.
voluntary giving up the membership, so that voluntary is implied or expressed. Like if you join particular party, then anti-defection law
See, that
will
is the
apply,
point.
or like
No, that is the
just
point.
expelled member.
That is the
Yeah.
point. Voluntarily, thank you very much. Voluntarily giving up membership. That is the whole point. ये जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने बार बार कहा है, voluntarily giving up membership के ही केस में एंटी डिफेक्शन आपके ऊपर अप्लाई करेगा. Voluntary giving up membership can be by conduct or can be by action within the house. Conduct का एग्जाम्पल मैंने आपको दिया जो यूपी में हुआ, by writing to the governor. Conduct का एग्जाम्पल abstention भी है. So these MLAs of Manipur will immediately face action if the Congress party wants, right? Though by conduct, they have abstained. Whip has been issued and they have abstained. So that is by conduct. So that is voluntarily giving up membership. Now it has been extended to the point. Ahmed Sheikh, will you please mute yourself? Ahmed Sheikh, अपने आप को please mute करिए. Yes. So voluntarily giving up membership वहाँ पे apply करेगा. Whereas in if you are expelled from your party, no, you are an unattached member. Kirti Azad is an example. Expelled from the party. You cannot then there is no whip that can be issued to an expelled member, and such a person cannot you cannot take action. So that is in fact what the strategy of these Congress MLAs was. They wanted to be expelled, and the government also knew that if they expelled them, they will come into minority. That is why they were not expelling them. They were wanting to disqualify them so that the strength of the house comes down. देखिए दोनों में फर्क है. Look at the dynamics of the Rajasthan house. The Congress party has a strength of 102, right? And 6 of these BSP MLAs 108 and 1 more independent, so they are claiming 109. If 19 is removed as disqualified, the Congress party's strength comes down to 90 and the strength of the house is 200. Obviously, they are in minority. But if these fellows are disqualified, then the Congress party's strength is still 88 or something, and or 90, let's say for ease of calculation, and the strength of the house comes down to 180. So they are able to manage. बात समझ रहे हैं आप? दोनों में ये difference है. So for an expulsion, you continue to be a member of the house. You are not bound by any whip. No action can be taken in anti-defection law. But if you are gone, if you have gone ahead and been disqualified, then you lose your membership, and you are, as per the anti-defection law, you are not allowed to stand for elections for the remainder of the term. But the Supreme Court has allowed the Karnataka MLAs to stand for election again, the ones who are disqualified. I would really urge all of you to read that judgment, the Supreme Court judgment of 2019, wherein these MLAs have been allowed. So this is actually really gone and weakened the anti-defection law in my view. Yes, please. Anybody else before I move on to the chat questions?
सर नमस्ते सर।
नमस्कार शेख जी।
सर मैं आंध्र प्रदेश से हूँ। सर मेरे अकॉर्डिंग टू एंटी डिफेक्शन लॉ मेरे पास एक क्वेश्चन है सर। सर जब चंद्रबाबू नायडू जी चीफ मिनिस्टर थे आंध्र प्रदेश के, जब उन्होंने थोड़े अपोजिशन पार्टी जो जगन रेड्डी जी के पार्टी से थोड़े लोगों का उनके पार्टी में लिया था जी, और वो जब उन्होंने विप दिया था जगन रेड्डी जी, तो वायलेशन ऑफ विप हुआ था। स्पीकर जी ने उस पर एक्शन नहीं लिया। उस पर एक्शन ना लेने के बगैर, और उन्होंने स्पीकर जी ने क्या किया था, चंद्रबाबू नायडू जी ने गवर्नर जी को लेटर देकर उस 20 एमएलए में से 4 एमएलए जी को मंत्री बनाया था।
करेक्ट।
और वो मंत्री भी बन गए थे, उसको वायलेशन ऑफ एंटी डिफेक्शन लॉ नहीं हो सकता क्या सर?
एग्जैक्टली द सेम प्रॉब्लम। थैंक यू फॉर योर क्वेश्चन। यही प्रॉब्लम जो आपने बताई, यही प्रॉब्लम तेलंगाना में हुई, जब के चंद्रशेखर राव ने हर पॉलिटिकल पार्टी को तोड़ के अपने साइड में ले लिया, एंड द स्पीकर बिलोंग्स टू द रूलिंग पार्टी, सो चोज नॉट टू टेक एक्शन। सो दैट इज व्हाई, सी, प्रॉब्लम्स यही है। स्पीकर टेक्स द साइड ऑफ द रूलिंग पार्टी, the governor takes the side of the ruling party at the center. Everything is becoming so politicized. Nobody is above water. आप किसी पे तो भरोसा करेंगे, आप सभी पे भरोसा नहीं कर रहे हैं, सभी कुछ कोर्ट पे छोड़ देते हैं। Every matter goes to court. So this is becoming very, very, very politicized. And so courts are trying to lay down guidelines. जैसा मैंने पहले कहा, that the speaker has to take action within a certain period of time. Yes or no, either way, so that the matter can then go to court. The MLAs have to be given a reasonable period of time to respond. So MLAs का भी अधिकार unlimited नहीं है, speaker का भी अधिकार unlimited नहीं है. So in law, the true position is nobody is all powerful. Neither is legislature all powerful, neither is executive all powerful. In India, the constitution is all powerful. Neither is judiciary all powerful. It is ultimately the constitution. So now what is happening is, because everybody is now getting politicized, and these ideologies have, they become very, very divisive. All niceties in politics have been forgotten. So these things are happening more and more. Coming back to Rajasthan, what has happened recently? I mean, 48 hours notice being given to the MLAs. MLAs are also very smart. They will not be there. So you go and paste it outside their residences. Now the other issue is the very interesting point. The speaker says, I am deciding the matter, so why are the courts interfering? The court says you have already decided. By deciding to issue a show cause notice, you have already decided. By giving 48 hours, you have already decided. The court is right, in my view. By giving 48 hours time, he has given his decision, and the court says, no, 48 hours is not a reasonable time, according to Supreme Court in Manipur case. As simple as that. Baki, the case can be adjudicated, but speaker has given his ruling on the fact that reply in 48 hours, and that order is appealable. So, जो आपने पूछा अहमद शेख जी, the same thing, whether Chandrababu Naidu has done it. Incidentally, Chandrababu Naidu did the same thing in 1995 with his own father-in-law. So, N.T. Ramarao, he broke the political party and split the political party and the same things anyway. So, so this is happening every place. You saw that in Tamil Nadu. O. Paneerselvam and this one, Iradapalli Palaniswamy. Same problem. Got resolved later on. But that problem did persist. Constitutional crisis did happen. So, और जितना छोटा हाउस होता है, उतना ज़्यादा फ्रैक्शियस होता है. ऐसा नहीं है कि यूपी जैसी स्टेट्स में ये प्रॉब्लम नहीं हुई है, बिहार जैसी स्टेट्स में ये प्रॉब्लम्स नहीं हुई हैं. दे हैव, यूपी हाउस यूज्ड टू बी 425 बिफोर उत्तराखंड. नाउ इट इज 402. 403. But even now, these problems happen in UP. Not in the present government because the majority is there, 325. But previously, there used to be this problem constantly in UP also, despite being such a big house. So this problem is there, and we need some solutions. The law has to evolve. Unfortunately, in my view, the Karnataka judgment of last year is a retrograde step. And I'm saying this with all humility at my command. Yes, please.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Deepu.
Sir, my question is regards with what you said, like an MLA or an MP has no fundamental right to defect, but whether such person has the right of expression, and more
Yes.
so, and more so when such expression is in the form of vote, abstention, or even going against the party line and saying something in the floor of the house. And where does the privilege comes into picture, which are mentioned under 105 and 194?
Yes. Thank you very much, Deepu. So I will deal with your question one by one. So a vote given in Parliament is protected. Whatever may be your vote is protected under 105 and 194 for the Parliament and state legislative assemblies respectively. And that uska reason मैंने बताया था, that is to ensure that MLAs and MPs are able to express their views in a free and fair and frank manner without any kind of fear or pressure or whatever. Now, can they speak against the party line in Parliament? The answer is yes. Can they vote against the party line? The answer is no. That is as per Kiloto Holoan and reiterated by Bandekar and Chipikar in Goa. So Dayanand Bandekar. So the fundamental right of expression remains. But since you have been elected on a party ticket, once a whip has been issued, you are bound by it. A very interesting case with regards to a whip, I must share with you. There was only one judge जिसका impeachment motion आज तक पार्लियामेंट तक पहुंचा और उसने रिजाइन नहीं किया. There is only one judge. Can you name the person? Any of you?
V. Ramaswamy.
Very good. Justice V. Ramaswamy. His impeachment motion was taken up, and his counsel was Kapil Sibal. The largest political party in the parliament was the Congress party. It had 415 or something MPs out of 543. Did the Congress party issue a whip? The Congress party said, go by your conscience. No whip is being issued. That became obvious that the impeachment motion will fail. बात बड़ी सीधी है ना? If the party which has 80% of the MPs says that there is no whip being issued, vote by your conscience, that means the motion will not succeed. As simple as that. So Mr. Kapil Sibal represented this gentleman in the House, and the largest political party says conscience vote. So once a whip has been issued, you are bound by it, and that is the decision of Supreme Court in a catena of cases. So fundamental right of expression is there, starting from Kiloto Holoan, and but this fundamental right does not extend to the point that you are going to be able to go against the party whip. So I hope that answers your question. Pooja has spoken about political morality. Yes, political morality is at an all-time low. It is obvious. It is happening in every state in India. So, and every political party seems to be playing the same game. Contesting bar election, barring them from a by-election, I've already explained the position on that. So buying and selling of MLAs, nowadays a new technique has started taking place. Misuse of agencies like ED, DRI, CBI, etc. This has been happening earlier also, but nowadays maybe it is more rampant. So, you do all of this. First of all, you induce them by money. If that does not succeed, you start doing all of this ED, DRI, CBI, etc. There is a little bit of a political hypocrisy involved here. This is a very large country. People often talk of state funding of elections because देखिए election लड़ना महंगा काम है, आपको पैसा चाहिए. So हमारे यहाँ जो लिमिट्स प्रिस्क्राइब की गई हैं इलेक्शन लड़ने की, दे आर एबिस्मली लो. आप मोटिवेट कर रहे हैं लोगों को झूठ बोलने के लिए. आप मोटिवेट करते हैं इन माय व्यू लोगों को करप्ट बनने के लिए, बिकॉज 25 लाख 50 लाख रुपए में कोई इलेक्शन लड़ा नहीं जा सकता। कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसीज का साइज देखिए, कंट्रीज की पॉपुलेशन जितनी होती है उतनी एक कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसी। आपको पता है दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी में 12 लाख है स्टूडेंट पॉपुलेशन। 12 lakh is the population of countries in Europe. So please see the ground realities. These kind of limits, the size of parliamentary constituencies, the number of voters, these kind of monetary limits are abysmally low. So until you clean up, this is all linked. So there is so much of corruption in politics. That is because your limits on monetary spending are very low. Many people, many leading advocates, including Professor Upendra Bakshi, mind you, have advocated in their writings about state funding of elections. So इस तरह की चीजें होनी चाहिए. Mr. Ayush Goyal has spoken about something very nice, and he says that there should be an independent tribunal. Absolutely right, Ayush. The position of the speaker is intended to be that of an independent tribunal. And that is what the Supreme Court has said time and again. While deciding such cases, the speaker should act like an independent tribunal. There is a convention in other countries that after becoming speaker, the person ceases to be a member of any political party. The person does not stand for elections ever again. But here, see what happens. People become ministers after becoming speakers. That is a demotion. If you look at the warrant of precedence, after speaker, if you become a minister, it is a demotion. After speaker, if you become chief minister, even that is a demotion. But that has happened. Rajendra Prasad Shukla, Madhya Pradesh. Right? So, in fact, he has been number 4 in the cabinet. Chief minister, 2 deputy chief ministers, and then he as the senior most cabinet minister. Number 4 in the cabinet. I am saying even if he was chief minister, that is a demotion. In terms of the warrant of precedence. Right. So this is what happens here. In other countries, you do not you do not stand for election again. You do not you are ceased to be a member of that political party. But here, the speaker has a casting vote. Speaker continues to be a member of that political party, stands for election again on the ticket of that political party. So there are many of these reforms which are needed. Ritu has asked. There are many reforms. First of all, in my view, absolutely, if you are elected as a member of a political party, you should not be allowed to change your political party come what may. You have to resign or you have to, lose your membership. And once you lose your membership, you should be barred from contesting for the remaining period of that house. And if that, they should bring in a law that, and if that remaining period is less than, let's say, whatever is reasonable, 4 years, then such period of 4 years in the next house also. ताकि कम से कम 5 साल तो आप बाहर रहें. नहीं तो होता क्या, आप लास्ट में अगर आप चेंज कर लें, दैट इज नॉट द वे. इफ देयर आर 9 months left and the speaker takes a long time to decide, from the date of disqualification you should be barred from being an MLA or an MP for a period of 5 years. That is my solution for this, right? So Mr. Bhati has spoken about something that, people say defections are because of, various kinds of Chanakya Niti and all. Yes, that is because of the abysmal depths to which the whole thing has gone down. People have asked as to how different people are managing to, do this. I've spoken about it. I have also, Farah Naz has spoken about anti-defection proceedings. A petition is filed before parliamentary proceedings. How is this linked with anti-defection, and how is this? So I hope you are now clear with this position, Farah. If you are not, please ask me and I will elaborate. Yes, Mr. Utkarsh Gopal, you're absolutely right. This is a perpetuating rule by one person. This is actually, see, sometimes the problem is worse than the solution. You say that defection should be allowed to encourage democracy. But see what is happening. Democracy is actually being trampled. So, दूसरी पार्टियों में आना जाना ये जो है, इस तरह की चीजें बंद होनी चाहिए. और आप लोगों का सभी का इसी तरह का मत है, ऐसा मुझे दिखाई दे रहा है. Abhijit has an interesting question. Why do you feel people leave the party and the ideology that they have been living with? Unfortunately, most of the time it is for monetary reasons, it is for short-term goals, it is for being in power, because politics is, there is a legitimate expectation that you will be in power. People, when they want to be elected, they talk about, things like Miss World, I want to do world peace. Miss World, maybe everybody says, no, world peace. So, but unfortunately or fortunately, politics is about pursuit of power. And when they remain out of power for a considerable period of time, maybe it becomes difficult to resist. Now, it is very interesting, two cases, because there are people who are asking. Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan. In Madhya Pradesh, the chief minister was refusing to face the vote of confidence. It is only when the Honorable Supreme Court stepped in and said that please face the vote of confidence did he call a session of the House. In Rajasthan, the chief minister ostensibly, in public, was demanding to face the vote of confidence and the governor was not allowing him. That is the public perception. Like I said, the truth is sometimes in between. The letter which went from the cabinet was not to seek a vote of confidence for calling a special session. The letter was to have a discussion on corona. And the governor is right. If you want to have such a position, strictly in terms of the constitutional position, you need to give 3 weeks notice. So had the chief minister said that I want to have an emergency session to call a vote of the House, then it is different. But otherwise, you need 3 weeks notice. So this is two extreme cases. In one case, the governor is, the chief minister is saying that I want to face the House publicly. The private position is different. Whereas in the neighboring state, the chief minister says, I don't want to face the House because I have majority. If the opposite party feels, they can bring a no confidence motion. So this is the present day committee. Yes, thank you very much, Farah. You have spoken about Dinesh Goswami Committee on Electoral Reforms. Like a lot of things, it is gathering dust. Nothing is happening. And there is a question which has been posed. Congress worker not given Congress ticket. He comes to public and cries that party has ignored him and he stands as an independent and wins. And then he joins the Congress. Now this happens if you have not been given the party symbol and you win and you go ahead and join. You are a single MLA, irrespective of whatever. If you are a single party independent MLA, there are certain situations in which you can merge. There is a certain procedure that you have to follow. Even if you are a single party MLA, even if you are independent MLA who has conducted without, who has stood for election without symbol. Because independent MLAs are supposed to have their own ideologies. They are not bound by party ideologies. So if you say that I have taken over the party ideology, thoda sa uska, there is different perception for that. Now, Rajasthan situation, 6 BSP MLAs I've already spoken to you about. Yes, if you are resigning from the floor of the House, no problem. But have you resigned after commencement of the anti-disqualification proceedings against you, disqualification proceedings against you, then you are still liable for disqualification proceedings. अगर आपने पहले ही रिजाइन कर दिया तब तो आपको कोई कुछ नहीं कर सकता. I am get elected on a Congress ticket and I tomorrow want to join Samajwadi Party. Yes, I can resign. Absolutely, no problem. Right? But if I have resigned after commencement of the defection proceedings, then the speaker still has the power over me to disqualify me. But if we go by the Karnataka decision, then things will be different. Then disqualification has no meaning, so to say. That decision, in my view, is a poor decision and needs to be reassessed. I'm again and again saying. So, yes, Pooja, thank you very much. There has to be a bar, in my view, from the speaker assuming public office later on. The speaker has to be above board. In my view, the speaker should have a one term and the speaker should not be allowed to contest any kind of election thereafter. In fact, Sarkaria Commission has said something about governor. And if you read Sarkaria Commission chapter 2, they have said something about the speaker also, that this is the position in the Commonwealth countries, Malaysia, etc. included. They have said a few lines on the speakers also. So obviously Sarkaria Commission headed by a former Supreme Court judge. I think they knew what they were talking about. So I think we should go by their recommendations. There is a small mention of speaker also because they knew these kind of things will happen. Bona fide defection. Abhinav, it is very difficult to prove what bona fide defection is for want of reasons of ideology. It may be there, but bona fide defection agar aapka hai, then my view is that you should resign and you should stand for elections from the other political party if they are giving you a ticket. Or if you feel that this particular party has totally your ideology and your party's ideology are now completely different for XYZ reason, things change, people change. So then in that case, you should not be associated with that political party. So this I think is the best example of bona fide defection. Merging of a legislative party versus merger of political party. Vikas, thank you very much. Very, very interesting question. Legislative party, there are cases. See what is happening in Jharkhand. One person is expelling somebody, somebody else is expelling somebody else, everybody is expelling everybody else in the same political party. The issue is, what is relevant here becomes the legislative party. The political party is no longer going to be relevant. So that is why the leader of the legislative party becomes an important office holder. That is why Mayawati ji's position, unless the Supreme Court decides otherwise, in the BSP MLA's case, is not very strong, because she is coming in the capacity of the president of that political party, that too after 10 months. This is my view. Let us see what the Supreme Court decides. There is a very good question by Aishwarya. Election Commission working in sync with political party, how can you rein in Election Commission? Yes. Now, this is the problem. All institutions in India now are under very, very serious public scrutiny. Public is becoming aware. Lots of things are happening. Media is now bringing to light lots of things which were previously being brushed under the carpet. Mind you, ये सब पहले भी होता था. Election Commission only became powerful, so to say, after 89. उसके पहले Election Commission was doing what the ruling party was asking them to do. Now, a best example of the Election Commission not functioning in a proper manner, in my view, could be the fact if they decide to hold elections in Bihar today. There is very, very serious floods. There is very, very serious problems of COVID-19. There is no health infrastructure. And we are not Sri Lanka, we are not South Korea, that we can conduct elections during COVID-19. These countries are far more advanced. Their density of population is much less. Their electorate is far more disciplined. हमारे यहाँ ground realities ऐसी नहीं है. हमारे यहाँ किसी को मास्क पहनने बोलना ही बहुत बड़ी बात हो जाती है. It is very difficult to enforce that kind of discipline. So during COVID-19, given the fact that the state of Bihar has very, very poor health facilities, given the fact that there is huge floods, I think there is a fit case not to hold elections in the state of Bihar and impose president's rule to avert a constitutional crisis right now. But if the Election Commission were to go ahead and do that, then I think there will be very serious misgivings. And in all these things, it is not just justice being done, it is also justice appearing to be done. The optics matter. Caesar's wife has to be above suspicion, right? So justice ought to be done, not only justice being done. So ये सारी कुछ चीजें हैं. बहुत सारे फेडरल कंट्रीज में एंटी डिफेक्शन टाइप के कानून हैं और बहुत सारे में नहीं है. आई वोंट से बहुत सारों में है, आई वुड से कुछ में है, बिकॉज बाय एंड लार्ज दीज काइंड ऑफ प्रॉब्लम्स आर नॉट देयर. सो विवेक, दिस इज अ क्वेश्चन ऑफ रिसर्च एंड आई विल हैव टू कम बैक टू यू ऑन दिस, बट आई डू नो ऑफ अ कपल ऑफ अदर कंट्रीज जहाँ पे ये एंटी डिफेक्शन के लॉज बन गए हैं, राइट? इनफैक्ट एटलीस्ट वन कंट्री हैज लर्नड इट फ्रॉम इंडिया, लॉ ऑन एंटी डिफेक्शन, एंड दैट इज बांग्लादेश. ये हमसे ही सीख के गए हैं. सारी बुरी आदतें हम ही सिखाते हैं, अच्छी आदतें भी हम सिखाते हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल, हमारी सुप्रीम कोर्ट के डिसीजन और हमारे जो इंपॉर्टेंट हाई कोर्ट्स के डिसीजंस हैं, दे आर नाउ फॉलोड बाय एटलीस्ट 150 कंट्रीज ऑफ लैटिन अमेरिका, सेंट्रल यूरोप, मिडिल ईस्ट, साउथ एशिया, ये अफ्रीका, ऑन स्पेशली इन आईपी मैटर्स, कमर्शियल मैटर्स, आर्बिट्रेशन मैटर्स. In these areas, these new kind of law matters, these decisions are being followed by other countries' courts also. So this is my submission here, and there is one last question we will take, unless there is something else which is there from your side. There is Mr. Mang Liufeng is asking that after winning an election, joining another political party, there is he is joining another political party and some ardent supporter comes, can you move the court? The best case in such a case is you should quit that political party if that political party is against your wishes and is acting against your wishes, and stand for elections apart, right? Yes. So Farah has put it beautifully. We are actually not concerned with ethics. Thank you, Farah. We are concerned in law, we are concerned with what is legally wrong. We are not concerned with what is morally wrong. Judiciary cannot stop moral wrong. Judiciary cannot stop what is ethically wrong. हाँ, ये सब चीजें सबको समझ में आती हैं क्या हो रहा है डेमोक्रेसी के नाम पे, बट ये कोर्ट्स का इसमें रोकने में थोड़ा कोर्ट्स अक्षम है. कोर्ट्स कैन ओनली स्टेप इन इफ दे आर लीगली इन द ब्रीच, और यही चीज उन्होंने आधार वाले केस में भी बोली है. Okay. So any question, and we have some very, very senior people here. If Kiran Gupta ma'am is here, and if she would like to say something because she's an expert on this topic, Mahavir sir, if he is here, I would like to hear them, please. Kiran Gupta ma'am, if I can be heard. Okay, I think ma'am is choosing not to say anything, so which is fine. Any other questions from your side, please? Okay then, Ritesh, I think you can then formally conclude the program.
थैंक यू सर सो मच। एक क्वेश्चन सर एक स्टूडेंट का आया है, वो लास्ट क्वेश्चन आप
जी
कि जिस तरीके से आपने देखा होगा दिल्ली विधानसभा के मुख्यमंत्री अरविंद केजरीवाल ने 21 पार्लियामेंट सेक्रेटरीज बनाए थे।
जी
तो फिर प्रशांत उमराव जी ने इलेक्शन कमीशन में कंप्लेन की थी
करेक्ट
कि ये रूल के खिलाफ है।
जी
फिर प्रेसिडेंट ने इलेक्शन कमीशन के रिकमेंडेशन में उन्हें डिस्क्वालिफाइड करार दे दिया था।
करेक्ट।
उसके बाद हाई कोर्ट ने पार्लियामेंट प्रेसिडेंट के ऑर्डर को स्टे लगा दिया।
बिल्कुल सही।
तो उस पर आपकी क्या राय है, उसको कैसे देखते हैं?
देखिए ये जो ऑफिस ऑफ प्रॉफिट, ये मैंने थोड़ी सी बात इसकी की थी। ये ऑफिस ऑफ प्रॉफिट अभी जो पोजीशन है, इनको ऑफिस ऑफ प्रॉफिट माना जाता है पार्लियामेंट्री सेक्रेटरीज को। अब ये जो यहाँ पे दिल्ली में इनको पार्लियामेंट्री सेक्रेटरीज तो नहीं बनाया गया था, बट इनको किसी ना किसी सरकारी ओहदा, सरकार कुछ गवर्नमेंट ऑफिस इनको दे दिया गया था। नाउ ऑफिस ऑफ प्रॉफिट का रूल बड़ा साफ है। एनी गवर्नमेंट पोजीशन इफ एन एमएलए और एन एमपी गेट्स, it is going to lead to a conflict of interest. Only exception is being a member of the Council of Ministers. Why so? Because Council of Ministers is like a bridge. A person can be a part of the executive also and a part of the house also, the legislature also. So it is ये concept Britain से आता है. You are a bridge. You are part of both. You are scholars like Glanville Austen have said, you are a buckle of a belt, right? The Council of Ministers एक belt को इकट्ठा रखने वाले लोग हैं। सो यहाँ पे इन्होंने एक नया जुरिस्डिक्शन लगा दिया दैट आप अगर किसी और कमेटी के चेयरमैन हैं, आपको कुछ इसमें सैलरी नहीं मिल रही है, आपको कुछ इसमें पर्क्स या फैसिलिटीज नहीं मिल रही हैं, बट आपको फिर भी ऑफिस ऑफ प्रॉफिट माना है और इसको इलेक्शन कमीशन से एडवाइस लेके डिस्क्वालीफाई कर दिया। And since it was Delhi, it was the president. Otherwise, it would have been the governor had it been any other state. So Delhi High Court ने उसको स्टे कर दिया। अभी मामला सब जुडिस है। तो अब लेट्स सी, अगर ये भी ऑफिस ऑफ प्रॉफिट हो जाएगा तो ऐसे ही कानून, ऐसे ही तो हर स्टेट में ऐसे होता है दैट आप इतने सारे लोगों को, एमएलएस को, चेयरमैन ऑफ दिस कॉर्पोरेशन, चेयरमैन ऑफ दैट काउंसिल, मेंबर ऑफ दिस काउंसिल, ये सब बना देते हैं। तो उन सबको भी डिस्क्वालीफाई करना पड़ेगा। अगर ये सही है, अगर इस तरह की चीज दिल्ली में हो सकती है तो बाकी जगह भी होनी पड़ेगी। तो ये थोड़ा सा एंटी डिफेक्शन लॉ, दिस इज एन इवॉल्विंग लॉ। लॉ इज अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग एंड डायनेमिक फील्ड बिकॉज इट इज सो इवॉल्विंग। इसीलिए अनलाइक अदर ब्रांचेस ऑफ स्टडी, लॉ बीइंग सो इवॉल्विंग, इट इंटरेस्ट्स मी द मोस्ट।
थैंक यू सो मच सर, आपने अपना कीमती समय दिया और इतना सभी को बहुत अच्छा लगा, क्योंकि व्हाट्सएप पे मैसेजेस आ रहे हैं कि बहुत अच्छा सेमिनार है, आपको थैंक यू बोला जा रहा है। तो सभी स्टूडेंट्स की तरफ से बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका कि आपने अपना कीमती समय दिया। और मैं चाहूँगा कि आप लास्ट का 1 मिनट कंक्लूड करें। और
Thank you very much to all of you who have assembled here. You've taken out time and you have wanted to listen to this particular topic. I have previously spoken about it on Lok Sabha TV as well, because they have spoken about a specific topic of this anti-defection in the light of what is happening in Rajasthan. And I was very happy to see the kind of participation that has been there from all of you and the kind of questions that you have raised. And so many of my senior colleagues have also, found the time and come. So many of my colleagues at Faculty of Law